Welcome to ZKast. I'm Zeus Caravallo from ZK Research, and I'm here at Splunk.conf in Boston. I'm with a couple of gentlemen from Worldwide Technology, Yvonne Wintersteiger. Happy to have you back. You're a ZKast vet here. And Mike Cervasio. Before we get going, just maybe a quick intro on yourself, what you do for WWT.
Yeah. So, like you said, Yvonne Wintersteiger, I'm a director for AI Ops and Observability practice and our end-user computing practice. And combined, we also own digital employee experience as well. So.
And Mike?
Yeah, Mike Cervasio, I'm the global practice manager for observability and AI ops.
Yeah. And I'm excited to talk to you guys because we are at Splunk, and obviously the show is all about observability and security and AI ops, and that was a lot of the themes. Now, both of you, Worldwide Technology, Cisco's premier partner, a long history with Cisco, but relatively new to Splunk. And Cisco, of course, paid big money to acquire Splunk, and first.conf for both of you, I think, right?
Second,
yeah.
Okay. And just overall thoughts from the show. Since I know you're Cisco vets, what do you think of .conf?
Well, actually, I like it's a smaller show, and really, again, this year shows a little bit more Cisco presence than last year, which makes sense again. But altogether, it's been pretty exciting show because they're showing a lot of new innovations here in how they're tying together a lot of the Cisco and Splunk technologies together into something that's going to shape a future for them really nicely.
Yeah, and it's exciting announcements. Cisco's really tripling down on getting
Tripling
down. 1, 2, 3. Really, as a force multiplier for what Splunk can do and how it can integrate with the whole portfolio and the whole ecosystem of multiple OEMs.
Yeah, and so let's talk about that. When Cisco bought Splunk, let's face it, Cisco's track record on acquisitions historically has been good but spotty. And I was talking with, I think, somebody from your company when they bought Splunk, and they said, I hope they don't AppD it. And look, nobody at Cisco is going to defend the AppD integration. That was terrible at first, right? And it looks like they've taken a much different approach with Splunk, and they've been very aware of the Splunk community, the Splunk install base, and they didn't want to disrupt that. And so how do you guys think the integration's been going?
Well, again, that was the whole thing about excitement and innovation. That's the whole theme here, and that was also very evident at Cisco Live this year as well.
Yeah.
They are doing so much that I'm like, if somebody asks me what are all the announcements, I probably won't be able to tell you half of them because there's so many of them. But they're doing so much in that space of integration, make sure that portfolio of Splunk and Cisco works better together, and then at the same time, to your point, they're making sure that they're not alienating the existing Splunk user base and vice versa. So really, I think they're doing a great job, but way better. Yeah.
And Mike, since you're Mr. Observability, we're going to get a massage that says that. Cisco historically has had these islands of observability, Thousand Eyes, AppD, Cisco Telemetry, Meraki had its own observability. How does Splunk fit into this broader observability world that Cisco has?
To me, it's the federation. They're becoming, what they announced this week was, the new Cisco Data Lake. Data Fabric is what they call it. Yeah. But bringing those together and not losing traction with what they already committed to die-hard Splunk fans. Their roadmap was still existing, and they just co-develop now. Hey, let's integrate with our own portfolio. Not just the networking and hardware, but App Dynamics, Thousand Eyes, Cisco Catalyst Center, and Meraki. So they're really paying special attention to accelerating the success for what they rely on us to tell customers, hey, what's going on, what's the integration, what's new, when is it going to be GA? And so we're participating, like for AI Canvas, we're a development partner that's starting in October. Mm-hmm. So we're going to get our hands on, kick the tires, give recommendations to see how that could be used.
Yeah, I think AI Canvas is going to have a tremendous amount of success. Before we, I don't want to talk about that, but you mentioned the Cisco Data Fabric. Talk about why that is and why you think it's important. I know the audience here really liked it. So.
Yeah, it's if you remember an old Time magazine article, own the data, own the world. I don't know, maybe I'm dating myself. That one. But anyway, getting insights out of all that machine data, because I think there was a stat, 60% of all data growth is from machine data.
Yes.
And you can see why with all the AI
And it's only going up.
workflows, yeah. So a ton of information, but how do you look through that tsunami of noise and get insights? So that's what this data fabric can do. It's built on the Splunk platform, and it's really meant to visualize and correlate and bring things together in context, which is important, in context. So to me, it's a great announcement. It's something that we could sell right away. It's not roadmap, it's available today.
Maybe the interesting note here, they're also talking about a ludicrous amount of data, right?
Ludicrous,
which is true. And one of the biggest complaints that customers had of Splunk was that, hey, we're paying so much for the data. And what they're trying to do now, one of the security guys that's here with us was like, hey, I think they're listening to the customers, and which is true. And so what they're trying to do is really kind of decentralize some of the data and not necessarily ingest everything. Just get integrations to the data and leave it where it's at. And that's, I think, the huge shift that they're doing here.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a central data lake. It could be on the edges.
Yeah.
You could do the analysis at the edges where the data lives.
Yeah, well, that clearly was a big transition Splunk had to go through. I know they had a lot of unhappy customers as those costs went up, and I thought it was interesting when Tom Gillis was on stage and they talked about how Cisco firewall data is free to ingest.
Yes.
Right.
But then he said, what's better than free is not having to ingest.
Right.
Yes.
And that's
Exactly.
Right, and that's the whole concept of the data fabric. Leave your data where it is.
Yeah.
Do your
On the
searches,
edge.
and then suck in only what you need.
Correct.
Where the old Splunk model was suck everything in, pay for it.
Yeah, pay
and
for
then
everything.
Do your, and then do your analytics.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you mentioned AI Canvas, and they announced that, of course, at Cisco Live
Right.
earlier in June. But here they announced the integration into Splunk. Now, how do you think Splunk users will take to that?
I think they'll love it because you're in the Splunk platform. That's kind of everyone's first pane of glass, and now it's a first-class citizen. You don't have to go to a separate AI Canvas collaboration tool. It's built in, pull-down menu, ask it questions, have it summarize events for you, and give you recommendations. So and it'll do the SPL, the search for you, without having to know SPL.
Yeah.
So it's
to me,
English.
it really democratizes the ability to work with Splunk data.
Yes.
Where, let's face it, the learning curve on Splunk was pretty high, right? I mean,
Not a lot of people have an army of Splunk SMEs to get insightful data. This could help.
well, you do.
So also from my perspective on the Canvas, when they announced it at Cisco, I was worried, that they developed it in a vacuum, and why is this not part of already a Splunk platform? And they rectified here, so that was good. Good to see that. Otherwise,
Yeah. Well, they've been very clear with AI Canvas that it will eventually be the dashboard, but obviously there's a transition.
Yeah.
Right. And customers will be able to launch it from Catalyst, Center, Meraki, whatever.
Yeah, in the native tools.
And then eventually we'll roadmap. All roads will lead to AI Canvas, which is really the right way to do it.
And the collaboration piece is, to me, that's the biggest seller for me. I've been working at American Express for 25 years, being able to invite the right SMEs and collaborate and summarize what's going on with your production.
On the fly.
Yeah. Well, it's really meant for multi-team.
Yes.
So so you think about it, if I'm working and then all of a sudden I need to go to a different domain, I can hop into AI Canvas and do that. So
I think they were explaining it as a virtual war room.
Yes.
So on demand, boom.
Yeah. And Mike, since you're also AI Ops, where are we in the journey to AI Ops, and are customers warming up to it?
They are. They want to figure out how to spend their AI budget practically, quick time to value, without having to build their own. That's still an option, but we're seeing a lot of the modern observability tools, like we learned here today with Splunk and ITSI, Event IQ. It's baked in now. Why not take advantage of what you've already invested in? But we do have some customers that don't even talk to me about the North Star of AI. We need to get unified observability done right first. And then we also get a lot of companies talk to us about the SOC of the future, the NOC of the future, the command center of the future. And what do we need strategically, people, process, culture, and then technology-wise?
Yeah, and so what is the NOC of the future? Are these going to be fully automated agents running our...
My opinion, no. It's going to be I hate to use the word co-pilot. It's going to be staff augmentation, where you could have a more junior technical person and have your CCIE with decades of experience, which is your bot to help you troubleshoot and look at trends instantaneously instead of, hey, tell me what's going on with all these different dashboards. I can't interpret them. So it's more, to me, it's more of a staff aug. Now you may be able to reduce that level 1 support personnel to focus on more strategic initiatives versus troubleshooting.
I think it would be like a blended workforce in a sense. Some human, some agents, all working together for the same goal to improve that mean time to resolution and ultimately.
So what's fascinating about that, though, is I think if you are going to blend human and AI agents, you actually need AI to be able to track who's doing what.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Right. So in some ways, the rise of AI begets more AI, and because trying to manage this human digital workforce isn't trivial. So
yeah, one of the things they were talking about is like they're building all these agents that aid a human in troubleshooting or whatever, right? And you'll have specialized agents for different tasks. So there'll be like a troubleshooting one, then some at the end, the agent is going to actually write a pretty much
remediation,
remediation, or even just the notes on what happened, what we did, what didn't do.
Post-incident report, which everyone forgets to do.
So it'll be like the army of these agents.
So to me, that's the killer app. Actually, initially, is being able to create the documentation and reports.
Yeah.
No one does that well. I was talking with one.
I
was talking with one of the Splunkies, one of the customers here yesterday, and he said that they. Right now, when they're going through the troubleshooting process, they're in Splunk and they're also in Slack, and then they're taking notes in Slack, and with an effort to be able to create documentation for that afterwards. Now he's excited with AI coming. You can do your troubleshooting, and it'll create that documentation for you. And so,
to me, that's the quickest benefit. Time to value is the war room, where there's an incident, bridge you open. But the auto summarization dynamically, as new people come in, hey, give me an update what just happened. Then you start over. And then the post-incident report, which people tend to forget, and by the time they do it, they miss a lot of the key information. Have AI do that for you.
Yeah, I think the key was like, I heard that the best data, I guess, on that is actually, like you mentioned, either in a Slack messages or in a Teams messages. So ability for AI to look in there as well and gather all that up and just put it all in.
And the ServiceNow tickets and all the data.
All right, so far so good with the acquisition. In fact, I think from my perspective, as somebody who's watched Cisco a long time, they're much further ahead than I thought they'd be at this time. When G2 was presenting and they had that scrolling list of Cisco Splunk integrations, I'm like,
crazy.
Yeah. And so, but looking ahead, what would you like to see next out of Cisco and Splunk?
From my perspective, I want to see this continue. They need to not let off the gas because they are going against the competition that maybe has some head start, especially in observability. They're actually a little bit lagging behind of some of the leaders out there in the market. But with all the stuff that they are planning and the future, the way they painted it, that is going to be awesome. Just need to execute on this, which is probably the hardest part, but that's what I would love to see them do.
And how about you, Mike?
Yeah, so I mean, they made some really aggressive time commitments. Some of the stuff is GA, like
well, that's G2, right? He's going to hit his roadmap.
ITSI, EventIQ, GA. Some of the other ones are alpha in October and December. Like, to me, one of the cool ones that I'm looking forward to is the AI agent monitoring. So a lot of companies buy AI solutions from us.
Good call, yeah.
Hardware, software, but why not bake in observability and monitor, get the LLM experience, the digital employee experience, digital customer experience, the LLM experience. Be able to understand, is everything working as it should? Is it accurate? Is it pulling from the right data sources?
Yeah.
So that's coming out, that's December alpha. We're looking forward to testing the ATC.
And so talk about that. And so if customers want to go through the process of testing these things and trying them out, how can your ATC, your Advanced Technology Center, and AI Proving Ground help them do that?
I mean, just pretty much that's going to be our secret weapon, I think. We already have so much stuff running there. We have gear there that maybe not even on the market yet, ready to go. So a lot of the guys there are already ready to try to test stuff out. Mike mentioned we're going to do all the alpha and beta testing with Cisco. So looking forward to it. So that means that pretty much when customer wants to know, we can say, yes, this is the story, and yes, we can show you that right away.
Yeah, and being able to test the whole ecosystem of all the integrations. Not every customer has the highly expensive GPUs from NVIDIA. There may be a mix of different workloads, and to maximize the cost investment, workloads spread out for the right cost.
Yeah. So if they're looking for a low cost, low risk way of testing out AI, AI proving down an
Cost.
Yeah, that's exactly what it says. You prove out your AI use cases.
All right, anything else you guys want to add?
Again, overall, excitement I felt here with everybody, and I'm excited for the future.
I got to tell you, I kind of like the Splunky vibe.
Yeah.
The Splunk community is really a unique one.
It is.
Yes.
All the Fez wearing guys that have been around, and they take a lot of pride in that.
Oh,
They
yeah.
should.
Yeah. I was talking to one engineer who's had the Fez since 2016, and he couldn't. I just asked him about it, and he stood there for 10 minutes telling me all the projects and things he's done with Splunk, and you can just tell the passion here.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
and I'm really glad if there's one takeaway that Cisco hasn't disrupted that. In fact, they kind of fed into it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, in fact, one of the things that the Splunk executive team was telling me is like they've never really had access to network telemetry before. They were security, they were observability, but now having network telemetry become part of the Splunk platform just creates another vector for them.
Yeah,
to
long overdue. To get, networking core company.
Yeah.
Now they're getting the data they need.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, great to have you guys. I'm sure I'll see a partner summit coming up in the future. So on behalf of Mike Cervasio and Yvonne Wintersteiger from WWT, I'm Zeus Caraval from ZK Research, and thanks for watching. Give us a like, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you next time on the next episode of ZKast. Thanks, guys.